The lobby of the Al Noor Grand Hotel gleamed like a palace, every marble tile polished to a mirror shine, every chandelier dripping with gold and crystal. Sheikh Amir Al-Fayez entered like a desert storm, his flowing white robes catching the light, his attendants scurrying behind, and guests whispering in awe as they stepped aside. The billionaire's deep voice rolled across the room as he spoke, in rapid Arabic, giving sharp instructions to his assistant about his suite, his food, and his schedule. "Tell the manager, I want my suite prepared to perfection," he said, his words crisp and commanding. The assistant hurried to translate, but before he could speak, a quiet yet confident voice rang out in flawless Arabic. "Your Excellency, the suite is ready. We ensured everything meets your highest standards." The words stopped everyone in their tracks. Guests turned. Staff froze. Even Amir's dark eyes narrowed as they shifted toward the sound. Standing beside a cleaning cart, a young black maid in a plain uniform met his gaze without flinching. Her name tag read Aliyah, though her posture carried more dignity than her simple job suggested. "You speak Arabic?" Amir asked in his native tongue, his voice laced with both surprise and suspicion. Aliyah nodded respectfully. "Yes, Sheikh Amir. My grandmother insisted I learn," she said, her accent precise and her tone humble yet steady. For a moment, the hall felt silent enough to hear a pin drop. Amir studied her intently, his curiosity piqued. No one in his entourage dared interrupt. Finally, a faint smile tugged at the sheik's lips, though his eyes still tested her. "Interesting," he murmured. "Most of the people paid to serve me here cannot speak a word of my language. Yet here you are." He stepped closer, his presence overwhelming, and added, "You surprised me." Sheikh Amir's sharp gaze lingered on Aliyah, his mind turning as quickly as the gears in his luxury sports cars. He waved his assistant away with a flick of his jeweled hand, stepping closer to the maid, who now stood ramrod straight beside her cleaning cart. The lobby was still, all eyes drawn to the strange tableau between the powerful billionaire and the unassuming young woman. "If you truly speak Arabic," Amir said in a low, commanding tone, "then show me respect as you would a man of my rank in my homeland. Address me properly." The challenge was clear. His entourage smirked, waiting for her to falter. But Aliyah's expression didn't waver. With graceful precision, she lowered her gaze and spoke, her voice calm yet filled with the kind of respect that could silence a king. "Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh Amir Al-Fayez. May your days be blessed with wisdom and your nights with peace." Her pronunciation was flawless, her tone rich with cultural reverence. A ripple of murmurs spread through the staff and guests alike. One of Amir's advisors blinked in disbelief, another muttered under his breath, "That's better than some of our own." Amir's face was unreadable at first. Then, slowly, a grin crept across his lips, rare, genuine, and edged with intrigue. "Impressive," he said, his deep voice echoing off the marble walls. "You not only speak, but you understand how to speak." He paused, studying her with renewed interest. "What is your name?" "Aliyah, Sheikh Amir," she replied, her voice unwavering. He repeated her name softly, as though tasting it. "Aliyah." After a moment's thought, he leaned closer and added, "Bring tea to my suite later. I wish to speak with you privately." Gasps filled the room. A maid, summoned by the sheikh himself? Aliyah lowered her head again. "As you wish, Your Excellency." But as Amir turned and strode toward the elevator, his flowing robe sweeping behind him, one thought stuck in his mind like a thorn. Who is this girl, and what is her story? The sheikh's penthouse suite was a world apart from the hotel's lobby. Soft golden lights danced off silk curtains, and the scent of oud and fresh jasmine filled the air. Aliyah stepped inside, cautiously, her hands steady despite her racing heart as she balanced a silver tray with a teapot and delicate cups. "Enter," came Amir's deep voice from across the room. He sat on a low sofa near the balcony, the city lights of Dubai shimmering behind him like stars scattered across the desert sky. She placed the tray on the glass table and bowed slightly. "Your tea, Sheikh Amir," she said in Arabic. "Sit," he instructed, his tone softer now, but still carrying the weight of authority. She hesitated. No one of her rank would dare sit with a man of his stature. But something in his eyes told her refusal wasn't an option. Slowly, she lowered herself onto the edge of the sofa, her hands folded tightly in her lap. For a long moment, Amir said nothing, his sharp gaze appraising her like a rare artifact. Then he spoke. "Why are you working as a maid in this hotel, Aliyah? With your command of Arabic, you could serve as an interpreter, perhaps even in diplomacy. Why scrub floors?" She took a breath, her fingers twisting nervously. "My grandmother believed languages could open doors, Sheikh Amir. She made me learn Arabic from the age of 6. But when my family moved here, doors didn't open as she promised. We struggled. I took this job to help pay the rent." Her voice faltered but didn't break. Amir's expression softened slightly. "You carry yourself with dignity," he said. "Even here, you do not bow your head like others. Why?" Aliyah looked up, her eyes steady. "Respect goes both ways, Your Excellency. That, too, is something my grandmother taught me." Silence fell between them again, heavy but not uncomfortable. Then, for the first time in hours, Amir's lips curved into a faint, genuine smile. "Your grandmother raised a wise woman, Aliyah," he said, "and perhaps she was right about doors. You just didn't knock on the right one." The next morning, the staff buzzed like restless bees as word spread. Sheikh Amir had requested Aliyah's presence again. The hotel manager, red-faced and sweating, tried to protest. "Sheikh Amir, with respect, this girl is just a maid," but Amir silenced him with a single sharp glance, his voice low and commanding in Arabic. "This girl," he said coldly, "is more capable than anyone else in this building." Moments later, Aliyah arrived at his suite, her uniform freshly pressed, though her hands betrayed her nervousness with the faintest tremble. "Aliyah," Amir said, motioning her forward. "Sit." She obeyed, confused as to why a billionaire would take such an interest in someone like her. "I have spoken with my people in Dubai," Amir began. "They will arrange a position for you in my cultural and linguistic relations department. With your fluency and presence, you will be an asset." Aliyah's eyes widened, her breath catching in her throat. "Sir, I don't understand. Why me?" Amir leaned forward slightly, his dark eyes softening. "You didn't let your circumstances define you. Even when mocked, you stood tall. That is rare." Aliyah lowered her gaze, a tear slipping down her cheek. "But Sheikh Amir, I am no one. A maid." "No," Amir said firmly, reaching out to gently lift her chin. "You are a woman of dignity, and now it is time you step into the life you deserve." A week later, Aliyah stood on the tarmac in a tailored navy suit, her cleaning uniform folded neatly in her bag, like a memory she would never forget. The private jet loomed before her, engines humming softly as the desert sun lit the horizon in gold and amber. Sheikh Amir stood at the foot of the stairs, dressed immaculately, his hands clasped behind his back as he regarded her with quiet pride. "Your grandmother's wisdom brought you here," he said. "Now, the rest is in your hands." Aliyah bowed her head deeply, tears threatening to spill. "Shukran, Sheikh Amir. I won't waste this chance." His lips curved into a faint smile. "I know you won't." As she ascended the jet's stairs, Aliyah looked back one last time at the city where she had been invisible, surviving on hope and scraps of opportunity. Now she was leaving as something else entirely, a woman with power, purpose, and a future brighter than she had ever imagined. And the sheikh who had once tested her in the hotel lobby would never forget the moment the maid spoke Arabic and shocked everyone.